Hello, my fellow property managers, Mark Cunningham. So a few weeks ago, along with many of you, I attended the NARPM annual broker owner event right here in my home state of Colorado, up in Colorado Springs. It was an amazing time together there. A conversation that I had with many people I spoke with was around this idea. It all centers around growth, right? How do we grow? But then a very important component of growth is to stop the leaks in the boat. If you're bringing on a lot of new doors off in your front door, that's great. But when you're losing a lot of doors out the back door, all the ones coming in just flow through. So I think to truly have a growth strategy, a necessary component of that has to be stopping the leakage, stopping the attrition, or minimizing the attrition out the back door. So let me offer you about 6 different suggestions on specific things you can do that we do in our company to minimize the folks that are leaving us out the back door. At the end of the video, then I'll tell you what your expected attrition rate should be. How many doors is it acceptable to lose from an industry standpoint? And I'll share how many doors we lose on an annualized basis so you can judge yourself a little bit based upon that. Because we have to remember, the purpose of not losing doors is part of our growth strategy. It's the easiest way to grow. If you could lose 0 doors this year, that's a big deal versus a significant percentage of your doors. So a couple things to do. Number 1, don't overpromise on the rental rate. What we mean by that is on the front end, you're talking to a new prospective owner client. They're thinking about hiring you and partnering with you in the management of their home, and you want this account so bad, and you know the property's going to rent for $2,000 a month, and they say, well, I really need $2,500. And you think, this thing can't go for $2,500, but I really want the account. So you say, well, let's see what we can do. We'll do our best and try $2,500, knowing there is no way you're going to come anywhere close to 25, but you're so hungry for that account. That was a mistake on your part because you overpromised. And now you're going to list it at 25. Nothing's going to happen. Maybe the owner agrees to come all the way down to $2,300, which is still $300 overpriced. And now you've been doing this and spinning your wheels for 90 days. The owner's not happy with you. You're not happy with them. You've expended your time, your energy. You never should have brought them on in the first place because you overpromised on what you could do because you just wanted the door. Too bad. Don't do that. Be realistic. And we talked just on the last video, I believe, about not making recommendations on things like this, but using your level of expertise. And I understand it's a balance. Sometimes you want to try that. But if you know you're going to fail on the rental rate that they demand on the front end, don't overpromise on the rental rate. That's number 1. Number 2, don't overpromise on what you're going to do. This plays right off of number 1. When they say things like, well, I'm going to go ahead and go with you, and I know your management agreement says that you will go ahead and handle all maintenance items that are over $500, but I'd still like to be contacted in advance for anything before you spend any money. And once again, you want that door so badly that you say, oh, okay, we'll go ahead and do that for you. And then they say, and also on maintenance, I want to use all of my vendors. I've got a lot of cousins and they're all pretty handy, so I want you to call them, not your licensed, reputable people. You call my cousins. They don't answer the phone until after 1 p.m. because they're kind of tipsy from the night before and a little bit drunk, but use them. They're really good and they're really cheap. Okay, I'll go ahead and do that. No, don't overpromise. Don't overpromise things that you know you can't deliver on, because if you do, what's the risk that we're talking about here? They're going to leave out the back door after a period of time, or it's going to cause more problems than bringing on the new door. Number 3, communicate to your owner clients as the experts, also known as their investment advisor. Don't just be the property manager who collects rents and fixes toilets. Be the executive property manager. Be the asset manager. Be the investment advisor in the way you communicate to them, in the information you give to them. Overall, it's going to help retain those owner clients when they don't just see you as someone who collects rents and fixes toilets. Now, a great way to do that is with Blanket Homes. They're the sponsor for this video, and we love Blanket because they have a whole wide range of suite of products that they can help you and me to be the investment advisors. One thing that we're adding to our Rentvine account right now through Blanket is when our owners log in, they can see their little dashboard that's going to show the valuation of their property and the value of their portfolio. Just that one little component alone changes the whole complexity of the way we work with our owner clients. That's one aspect of what Blanket can do. If you haven't checked them out, you need to do that. Jump on their website, get the demo, because what they help you do is they help you communicate to your owner clients as the trusted advisor. They can do an automated year-end owner letter that gives a lot of information about the property, the valuations, giving them advice on when to sell, when to buy, helping them buy. Whole suite of products under Blanket. Reach out to my friends at Blanket. Great guys, great company. I promise you will be super impressed with what they can do. No one else is doing that. Number 4, be very, very candid on turnover costs before they happen. Tenant moves out of the property. You're managing it. Tenant moves out. You walk the property and you think, oh, this is going to need a lot of work, but I don't want to tell the owner now that I need carpet and paint, so I'm going to tell them I'll see what I can charge to their deposit, and I know I really can't charge. I don't want to be overly candid. That's the wrong way to think. Be candid. Tell them, gosh, we're going to need some work here. We're going to need new carpet. We're going to need new paint. Rental rates are down 5%, and it's taking longer to rent than it did this time last year. That's you being the professional. You're being truthful with them in a candid way. You're not sugarcoating things. Now, you're not doing it as a jerk, but don't sugarcoat things. Your job is to be the professional. Give them the diagnosis. Tell them what is necessary to get their property re-rented. And that might mean carpet, paint, dropping the rent, offering a move-in special. That's just the reality. That's how you're going to earn trust with your owner and keep them from leaving out the back door, because they're not just going to see you as a commodity, as another property manager. They're going to see you as someone who understands the market, understands their property, and is looking out for their best interest with a comprehensive, overall professional strategy. And number 5, and this is probably most important, don't take the wrong owner-client fits on the front end. Have a filter on the front end. When I talk to property managers who have a high attrition rate, in other words, like a lot of people are leaving on an annualized basis, they always focus on like those first 4 things I'm talking about, right? How do we do a better job of taking care of them? How can we communicate better? How do we do all these things better? Which is a great question to ask. Very, very appropriate question. But it doesn't get to the heart of the issue. Because I think the heart of the issue of ensuring that you don't have owners, clients leaving on the back end is to not bring on clients on the front end who aren't going to work, who you overpromise on, who you know aren't going to be a good fit, who you don't do a good job of being candid with your expectations. If you have a little higher barrier to entry on the front end, you're naturally going to have a lower back door off the back end. Think about it with your tenants. You screen away a percentage of prospective applicants because you know they're not a good fit. Now that means you're bringing less applicants through your doors as a tenant, but we understand that because the goal isn't to bring on 100% of applicants. The goal is to bring on qualified applicants, and they're going to stay with you and pay their rent on time and take care of the property. It's the same mentality with the owners. Only bring on owner clients who are a good fit for you, your process, your level of expertise, and by doing so, they're going to stick around. They're not going to leave out the back door. Now, if you're a salesperson by nature, as I am, that's a hard thing to do because it means you're going to put up barriers between a client who may want to work with you and actually working with them. And then number 6, finally, go after single property owners. What I mean by that is don't get all blurry-eyed and excited about the owner client that has a large portfolio. Because remember, at some point in time, every owner client is going to leave you. And when that big owner client who you were so excited to bring on 9 months ago with 55 doors leaves you out the back, now it is just a punch in the gut because now it really impacts your business. So if you don't want to worry about losing folks off the back door, bring on the 1s, bring on the 2s because they're much more stable. And if one of those leaves, okay, not a big deal versus the one guy with 50 doors who leaves and really hurts you that way. Okay, now for the question you've all been waiting for, Mark, what should I expect? Like, how should I do this? So a couple things. Number 1, you have to measure your attrition rate. And it's no software that I'm aware of does that. You've got to do it manually. Have the good old-fashioned Excel spreadsheet and start with how many doors you're managing at the beginning of the year. You add in the doors you bring on, every cell. You subtract out the doors you lose. But you've got to calculate it. You've got to know how many doors you started with at the beginning of the year and how many of those you lost. And that just by those simple calculations, you can know on an annualized basis how many you've lost. I hear numbers all over the place. Our attrition rate last year in 2024 was 11%. 11% of our owner clients left us over the course of the year, and they left for a variety of reasons. And yes, we track it and break it down. About 25% of those, we sold the properties. You're going to lose 10% of your doors every single year, no matter what. You could give away your services for free, and you will lose 10% of your doors because life happens. People move back, they need money and have to sell, a life situation happens, 10% are gone, no matter what. That means you've got to grow by at least 10% to stay flat. Now, depending on how far over 10% you lose is a variety of factors, right? It's what's going on in your market. Is your sales market hot? Is it slow? It's how good of a job you're doing. Because if you're doing a crummy job, then yes, people are going to get frustrated with you and they're going to leave out the back end. All of this assumes you're doing a good job on that. So I've heard anywhere from single digits, 5, 6%, all the way up to about 45% on an annualized attrition rate. So what's the average? Who knows? Don't worry about averages. Worry about you. Track yours from last year and make it better than it was every year. You've got to go down, down, down on this until you get as close to 10% as is possible. One other thing, if you like this and you want to continue to focus on growth, we're starting a new thing with our strategy and action groups here. It's a small group setting with me. I'm going to have 10 PMs and 10 PMs only within this small group setting. You can get information on it. Jump on our website, pmbuild.com, go under the events tab, or just go to pm.com/action. You can sign up for this with me and 10 property managers that I'm going to walk through a 4-month training on things like growth, on things like strategy for communication, on financials. So if that's interesting to you, jump on the website. But I hope that's helpful to you, my friends. You've got to close that back door as much as is possible. Minimize the people leaving you. That is the most effective way to grow. Until next time, I wish you success.